I'm Laurel. This is my husband, Chad. And this is our third child, our daughter, Lucy. And if you hear hiccups in my mic, that is her.
Not you.
It's not me. I'm not hiccuping. But we're going to walk you through we want you to, from the side the customer's on, get to experience what we do. And we're going to demo for you and explain the 3 questions that we're answering for customers in the ice cream section. So do you want to start us off?
Sure. So there's 3 things you need to know when you're selling ice cream to someone. The first one is what flavor they want of ice cream. That's usually where customers spend most of their time looking, tasting, sampling. That's where they're usually the most curious. But we also need to know what to put their ice cream in and then how much ice cream they need.
Yeah. So the first thing that we're doing is we're smiling and we're orienting them to the space physically and culturally. So in terms of the physical aspect of the space, we have our menu card over here, which I'll just pull that over. So if someone wants to know about the pricing tiers, that's here. I usually just read off it because I don't remember the prices. We have the visual aid of what our scoop sizes look like and the options that we offer. And then once we give samples, we have our little trash cup. And then also on a busy day, which you will be working on lots of busy days, we have our menu cards that we hand out to people in the line. And so when people come up, they're overwhelmed. There's tons of stimuli in the store that you're familiar with and they aren't. And so something that you can do to help them is just take their menu and put it in the stack with the menus to sanitize. So otherwise they'll leave it or walk out with it and there'll be clutter everywhere. So that's orienting physically. Orienting culturally is just that sampling is about making an emotional connection. It's not actually about helping them choose their ice cream. And it's not even so much about education. It's the heartbeat really is that emotional connection. So people come up, they might be like, oh, I'm just looking. And I always say, well, I think tasting is part of looking. So even if you're not buying anything, I would love to get you samples. We can sample chocolate, fudge, ice cream. So if you just want to know what pumpkin pie tastes like, even though you would never eat a scoop of it, just let me know, I'll get you a sample. And then I go back to cleaning because I'm always moving, I'm always cleaning something, stocking something, but I'm always going to let the customer know I saw you, you're welcome, we're going to have a great time, you get to relax, I'm not going to push anything on you, I'm just here to be your tour guide for this amazing experience.
Absolutely.
So, do you want to demo sampling?
Sure. Okay. So we have these tubs in every one of our cases that are full of sample spoons. So pick one up, make sure you're not touching the side that you're gonna take the ice cream, so you're gonna scoop for the ice cream, so you're not touching what's gonna go in the customer's mouth. And then you get a little bit on there. The goal is basically to have enough ice cream that it can melt on the tip of their tongue and they can get an idea of the taste profiles. If there's something added in the ice cream, like a nut for pistachio or butter pecan, or chocolate like a mint chocolate chip, you want to try to get a little bit of that so they know the combination of tastes that they're going to be experiencing. What we don't want is something that's smaller than that so they don't get a full taste, and we definitely don't want something bigger than that either because it tends to fall off the spoon, and they also don't need a full mouthful, they just need a taste of it. Once they're done, they can throw the sample spoon in the trash.
Yeah. Another thing with sampling is when you give them their sample, you don't want to stab them. It's like knife etiquette. Hold it out like this. They can see the Kilwins branding on the spoon. They can see visually the sample that is probably a representative sample. So if it's cookie dough, you want a little piece of cookie dough on there. And then again, we don't want clutter, so you make sure they know where the trash is.
Yeah.
So that's sampling. I love sampling because I love that moment where people relax. It's my opportunity to lower the anxiety in the environment.
Absolutely.
And especially when you have, like, say a regular, like we'll have students come in during finals and they'll just sample like almost every single ice cream. And I'll tell people that. I'm like, you can try it. They're people are kind of anxious because they've probably had a customer service experience where someone gave them the stink eye for sampling too much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can try all of them. And they'll laugh. And they're like, you're not serious. And I'm serious. Yeah. Have you ever had someone do that?
Well, what's fun is to start a conversation with them about it. So if someone tastes something like, oh, what do you like about that? Or what do you not like about that? And that also helps lower that anxiety a lot. But yeah, I've had people go through and literally sample every single one of our ice creams. And it's like, that's what we're paying you for, is to bring that customer on a journey. And so it's like we're offering them that experience. We want them to have that experience. Just smile and enjoy it, and try to dialogue with them a little bit, because that'll make the whole experience better for both you and them.
Yeah, and I really feel amazing when I know that I've succeeded in making that emotional connection. So like when you have a student who's in the middle of finals who comes in, they know it's a safe place and they get to just try ice cream. And it's this comforting moment for them in the middle of a stressful situation. And that's just a situation I know about. Families come in here to celebrate. And so sometimes getting ice cream or coming in here is a relief from stress. And sometimes it's the pinnacle of their vacation, that time where they're celebrating with their families. And so either way, whether or not we're a refuge or we are like the celebration pinnacle, we want to be ready to support them in that.
Yeah, and the truth is sometimes kids are more excited about coming in and sampling than actually getting ice cream. I know for Sebastian that's true. He's our oldest son. If he gets to try 10 flavors, that's really, really exciting, where it's like, he gets ice cream all the time. But to try different flavors is really fun. So,
yeah, it's the adventure. Yeah. Cool. So sampling is about the emotional connection. And then that brings us to line control. So when you're helping customers, you're going to have to learn to identify your group. And you're going to have to learn Chad actually was a shepherd when he was high school age, after you dropped out of high school.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't tell your parents that your bosses are high school dropouts. We went to college, so it doesn't count. It doesn't matter that we didn't finish high school. But no, he worked as a shepherd, and I often think about line control as herding. Now he had a sheepdog. You don't have a sheepdog, but you're gonna wish you had some invisible buddy when you're dealing with a line on a busy day to circle around your group, because you always have that overactive grandmother in your party who's going to initiate with every single one of your coworkers and tell them no one's helping her, even though you told that group, I'm going to take care of you from beginning to end. So you really have to exaggerate your instructions in this realm to say, hey, I'm Laurel, I'm going to serve you, I'm going to take care of every single person in your group from beginning to end. So you don't need to initiate with anyone else, I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to raise your hand really high, shout, make eye contact, go, I can help the next separate group, I'm available. And then they're going to have to weave their way through the crowd, find you, and then you have to set that expectation.
Yeah.
So that's a really big thing that pushes people's limits of their comfort.
And it's really important, like Laurel said, it's an exaggeration from beginning to end. From waving them down, you're making yourself physically big, making sure they see you. You got to lift your voice so they can hear you. When there's 100 people in the store, it's really loud. So you got to be loud, and they got to be able to see you.
Yeah. So that's line control. Do not lose your groups. You really do have to make sure it's by transaction. So you could have a family of 7 that's paying in 3 separate transactions. So you want to just pull apart. You want to say, are you guys paying together? I like to make it really awkward, if I've, students who come in, I'm like, are you together? And then they're looking at each other and you're like, all of a sudden you've initiated this defining the relationship moment for them. So we don't want to do that. But we do want to say, hey, are you guys paying together? And then you'll help whoever's paying together, and that reduces communication